I'm joined by Liran Berman, whose brothers Ziv and Gali were taken hostage on October the 7th and still haven't been released. There was, of course, that first big round of releases, wasn't there, some months ago, but nothing since. Liran, thank you for joining me today. Good afternoon to you.
Thank you, Sheila. Thank you for having me.
I can only imagine how difficult the last 6 months have been for you, your family, and for those around you. Can you, if you're happy to, can you take us back to the day they were taken and how you found out?
Actually, it wasn't on the same day. Yes, of course, I will tell the story.
Yeah.
We woke up October 7th, 6:30. I'm the only one of the family who doesn't live in Kibbutz Kfar Aza anymore. I left the kibbutz about 12 years ago, just thinking about going back with my wife and little kids to buy an apartment there, but not anymore. We woke up at 6:30, sounds of alarms in the phone and all over Israel, and opening the TV and starting to see the events of the October 7th unfold. We still had contact with my two little brothers until 9:30 and 10 in the morning. We lost contact with one of them at 9:30 and the other at 10. What we've been told since, we don't have any visual confirmation or anything, but what we've been told since is that they were kidnapped around 10:15, 10:30, something like this. Then for 10 days they were considered missing. We had no information, no one had no information about them. In 10 days after October 7th, official officers came to us and informed us that they were kidnapped with 100% by Hamas into Gaza.
Because there was that dreadful period of, well, a long time actually, wasn't there, where there was so much forensic investigation going on inside the kibbutz to find out what had happened to people. What have you been doing since, Liran, you and your family?
My parents and my other brother, we have another brother in the middle, Dan, they got rescued by the IDF. My parents on midnight between Saturday and Sunday, and Idan on Sunday afternoon. They were rescued and evacuated to my aunt, my mother's sister, kibbutz. It's like an hour something drive from Kfar Aza, safer location, and they are there since October 7th. I joined them then there on Tuesday, and still not knowing what's going on. Like I said, only 10 days later, we got informed about the kidnapping. And since then, we're starting to fight for their release, theirs and the 248. In the beginning, now 134.
Yeah, and hard to look back at that length of time, I'm sure. And, you know, you would wish it were
6
shorter,
months.
wouldn't you? Yeah.
Of course.
And I know that some of your campaigning to free them has brought you to out of Israel and to other countries like our own to campaign. Tell me a bit about that.
Yes. I've been to 3 delegations as of until now. I started in November in Washington, D.C. for 5 days, then the European Parliament, Brussels, Paris, and Strasbourg. It was in the end of December for 10 days. And then in January, end of January, we came to London and Madrid for about 8 days. Those delegations target international media and government officials. In DC, we met with the Speaker of the House in Congress and majority. Hakeem Jeffries is the House of Majority or something like that.
Yeah, in the States, yeah.
American politics, yeah. And in the United States, we met with. In the UK, we met with Prime Minister Rishi and David Cameron and Tzipi Potobelli, the Israeli ambassador there. In Spain, we met with the official government, Congress, Senate. Also in the European Parliament, we met with a lot of MPs. And we went there to ask for the world governments to put pressure on Qatar to facilitate another deal, and to
What,
facilitate and deal it all.
was it very difficult? I'm sure there were mixed views, but was it very difficult to see some of those releases and it not be your twin brothers?
It was extremely hard and also extremely happy.
Happy for others, sad for
Mm,
yourself. Yeah.
Of course, you don't understand how those two emotions can be together in one person. It was 8 days of releases, and every day it was so much happiness and so much sadness, and it was so emotional. This first deal, but extremely saddened that my brothers weren't there. But together with this, extremely happy for every family who got their loved one back.
What's your biggest fear, Liran, when it comes to how this war is going? What worries you the most?
That the world will forget about the hostages, and that the war will be the main focus. Everyone needs to remember that on October 6th, there was a ceasefire, there wasn't a war. And in the morning of October 7th, the terrorists of Hamas entered Israel and kidnapped civilians from their bed in their pajamas. And this war would be over the minute the hostages would be back and Hamas will surrender. It will end like this, like in a flash, when once all the hostages will be home and Hamas will surrender. We don't want wars with our neighbors. In Israel, we don't want this. We want to live in coexistence. If you ask Arabs in Israel, Muslims, Arabs in Israel, um, they will tell you the same, that they have not the best, but a very good life in Israel. And this is what we want with our neighbors, to have a good life together with them. So if Hamas will release those hostages and will surrender, this is what we want.
And it would be wrong to talk to you and not ask you about Ziv and Gali as individuals. I know they're twins, but
Yeah.
twins are still individuals. I'm sure they told you that every day of their lives. What are they? What are they both like?
Actually, they are twins, not identical, but they pretty much like the same thing.
Do they?
They each their own, but one like personality wise, but interest wise, they are very much the same. They both work together as light technician in the sound and light company with some of the biggest music names in Israel. They both supported the same football teams, Liverpool in England and the same Maccabi Tel Aviv in Israel. They pretty much like the same music. They doing everything together.
But
They travel
you
around
don't
the
know
world.
if they are together, do you? Now you don't know if they're together.
What we do know is that in the first deal, the family who got back saw them. They saw them alive. It was on the 54, 55, 55th day, so more than 120 days ago.
Yeah.
They saw them. They saw them separately, and both had minor injuries.
But
Minor
we're
injuries
okay.
in terms, yeah, but they were alive, so this was a huge relief for us. Now I don't know if they're together again or not, but they were separated early on. But twins have a unique connection, so
They
we
do.
hope that they are feeling each other down there in the tunnels, in the hell that they are in.
And
But
I know that I know from other hostages and hostage families that sometimes news did get through if you were being kept in somebody's flat, that kind of thing, and news would get through, which I assume is why campaigning so publicly is so important. That if they manage to see something, they know they haven't been forgotten.
yes, this is why we speak into the news in Israel and to the radio. They specifically, the release officer said that they listen to the radio. So we speak on radio and we speak on news channel every day, just for the chance that they are hearing us, and that they will know that we're doing whatever we can, and we will not stop until they will be home.
Well, I hope you get them back. I hope you get them back. And thank you for talking to us today. Thank you very much, Liran Berman, whose twin brothers, Ziv and Gali, were taken hostage on October the 7th.